Hi, my name is Anand Gaurav, and I'm a program manager on Visual Studio and on NuGet. In this session, I'm going to take you through a demo wherein I will explain what all is new in NuGet. I'll start with the authoring flow, wherein I will explain a new way to manage your package dependencies, and that is through PackageReference in the CSproj file. This is the default way of managing dependencies in the .NET Core and .NET Standard projects. You can still go ahead and use it in other project types by enabling this feature in NuGet settings. We have implemented background package restore. What this means is when you bring in a new package dependency to your project, whether you bring it via the tooling or by hand editing the CSproj file, then MSBuild will go and restore this package for you behind the scenes. What this means is you can continue working with the package you just imported without having to do an explicit restore or rebuild. I'll then talk about how do you bring conditional dependency into your project. That is, you bring in a NuGet package dependency based on some conditions. After that, we'll look at the packaging workflow, wherein I will show you the Visual Studio 2017 tooling, which makes packaging a lot easier and very simple. I will delve a bit deeper into some advanced topic like how do you go and target multiple frameworks, and how can you make use of NuGet commands as MSBuild target. That is, you can mention this in CSproj file, and MSBuild will go and execute it for you. And finally, I'll look at the publishing flow, where I'll talk about the new way to manage your API keys, which is the scoped API keys, as we call it. This is much more secure and much more targeted, as in what all permissions it has on which all packages. And when we look at it, it will be much more clearer. So with this, let me go to the demo. I have Visual Studio 2017 with me, and I'm going to create a .NET Standard library project. Once I have this project with me, let me go and add some functionality to it. So I'll use the code snippet from my toolbox and include a function here. This function returns the OS version on the machine that it runs. Now, let me go and add a couple of NuGet package dependencies. So I'll go and say manage NuGet packages, and in this, any guesses which package I'm going to install? I think everybody knows it. It's newtonsoft.json, so that I can make use of the JSON APIs in my project. So once I install it, let's go and take a look at the CSproj file as to how this dependency is brought into this project. So in the CSproj file, if you take a look, this is through a package dependency, and it says package reference, which package I'm importing here, and which version of it. Now, there was a restore that already happened the moment I included this one into my project. I will now go ahead and include another package reference. This time, I'll hand edit the CSproj file, and the background restore should still go and kick in. So let me go and add another package reference here. And this time, it is MVVM Lite, another popular package. And for whatever reason, I want to include this. So the moment I hit save, there should be a background restore that should run. So let me do save. And there should be a quick status here saying restoring packages, and the package is restored. So you didn't do, like I didn't go and build, or I didn't go and restore it explicitly. Now let's also compare this package reference way of managing dependencies with the other way that we have, which is packages.config. So if you create a .NET framework project, library project, you end up in a packages.config way of managing dependencies. If you know what, if you have dealt with packages.config, then you know what I'm talking about. But if you see this example, it will be clear, like when I contrast the differences. So if you create your project, which is a .NET framework project, and add some NuGet dependencies there are two files that gets edited. One is the package.config, and other is the CSproj file. So many times what happens is developers complain why there are two files checked out when I'm just adding one single dependency. And not only that, if you look at the amount of information that is written down to these files, right? And this is for the same two package dependency that I have included in the demo earlier. You see so many lines, and you can't even make out what this means. And if you are in a, if you are working in an environment where multiple developers are working on the same project, and everybody is trying to bringing in the dependency or removing some dependency, then it results in merge conflicts, and it's very non-trivial to solve because you don't understand what's going on where. So now coming back to my project, now that I have a project, I can build it to create the libraries. It will just build the libraries for me. Now, how do I go and package it into a NuGet package? So again, let me go back and show you the earlier way of doing things. So you have to step out of your Visual Studio, download a NuGet exe, then say NuGet.exe spec to create a new spec file. And in that, you will provide all the metadata information that you needed to publish to your NuGet package, like the package name, version, ID, description, etc. And once you have done that, save that file and then say NuGet.exe pack. Now, let's come to Visual Studio 2017. And here I can go to properties, that is project properties, and I go to the package section, and I can provide all of this information from within Visual Studio. So let me go and provide the right information that I want. So I can say this is my.sample.library. Version is, let's say, 2.0.0. I am the author. And this is a demo product. OK, this one is hidden. This is the demo product. And OK, 1 second. OK. So and this is a sample library. Once I do this, I have the metadata information for my package. The next thing that I need to do is just go and create a NuGet package. So how do I go and do it? I have to check this box, and that's all. So now, if I go and build this project, there should be a new NuGet package created for me automatically. Let me go and build this. The build will fail in this case, though. And that is OK. Oh, did it? Let me go and check. OK, yeah, not yet. So yeah, so now let's go and look at the project. So let's go to the build directory and in the bin, debug. And the NuGet package is here for me for each build that I trigger, right? So every time I make some changes to my project file, I don't have to worry about packaging it. I have the package ready for me. Let's go and take a look at this package. I'm opening a NuGet package explorer. And in this, I can see there is a lib directory inside it. And there is another folder, which is netstandard 2.0. This is the TFM. This stands for Target Framework Moniker. That means the DLL inside this is meant for .NET Standard. So what if I want now to enable my package to be consumed from another target framework? Let's say .NET Framework 4.5.2. Because that framework is not compatible with the .NET Standard 2.0. And I want my package to be available to as many developers as possible. So how can I do that? One of the ways you could have done it is you could have created another project, and that project will target .NET Framework 4.5.2, and copy over the contents from this project to that project, and then compile both the projects, get the libraries out of it, and do some magic to go and integrate into one NuGet package, right? Alternatively, now with Visual Studio 2017, what you can do is, I'll go to the CS proj file, and here I have this property which says target framework. So now from here, I can make it to target to multiple frameworks. And to do this, first of all, I have to use the plural form because I'm targeting multiple frameworks now, and I can put a semi-comma separated list of target frameworks. So I will say .NET 4.5.2, which stands for .NET Framework 4.5.2. Once I do this, it says, OK. Once I do this, then when I build this project, there should be a package created which is targeting both .NET Framework 4.5.2 as well as .NET Standard 2.0. So let's go and build. And this is the one that I was mentioning before. So it doesn't build, and that's for a reason. And that's because in my class, I have a functionality, like I have a function which makes use of some API, which is not present in the .NET Framework 4.5.2. And I am building against it. So I have to solve. So this is nothing related to NuGet here, but the kind of complexities that you will have to deal with if you are targeting multiple frameworks from within the same project. So I have another function here. So I'll just delete this one. and instead bring another version of this function, which takes care of that. So I have if-def defined. For .NET Standard, it uses the same code as before, but for .NET Standard, .NET Framework 4.5.2, it has a different API. Again, if you see here, there is some editor support here to understand which code path will be taken for each of these target frameworks. So I can just go here and say .NET 4.5.2, and then it will highlight this one. So I understand what's the code path going to be. These macros, if you see, these are auto-created for you because you're targeting these frameworks. You don't have to worry about creating them manually. And now that I have fixed the function, I can go ahead and build it. And if I go to the debug folder again and look at this NuGet package, you can see two TFMs, one for .NET 4.5.2 and another for .NET Standard 2.0. So for each of them, I have the libraries here. OK. So coming back to my project, I just wanted to show another scenario. So many times what happens is you want to bring in a package dependency or some assets to your development environment, which you do not want to go and finally output to the NuGet package that you are publishing on NuGet.org. So it's only meant for my development environment. Like you could have build or test harness that you want to bring in here, but not package. So I'll show you that scenario, how you can handle those things in Visual Studio 2017. So let me show you first what a package that I have. So I have a local NuGet feed here, which is a folder structure in my machine. And I have this build and test harness package, which I want to bring into my project. So let's go and look at the content of this. And this is targeting only the .NET Standard projects. It doesn't cater to the .NET Framework 4.5.2 world, which means I have a problem here because my project compiles against both these frameworks. So how do I bring this package into my project? So one of the ways I could do is with conditional inclusion of a dependency. And the tool also supports it. So you can say manage NuGet packages. And I'll choose a source, which is my local NuGet feed. OK, this happens because you have the package open. So let me go and choose this again. OK, 1 second. Yes. So my build and test harness is what I want to bring in. And I'll say install. And this should just install fine. And you'll see in a moment why and how. So if I go to CS project file, so CS project file is your single source of truth. So everything that you do with respect to bringing in a new package dependency or doing pack-related stuff, then everything goes into a CS project file. So I can go and look at the my build and test harness dependency. And as you can see, this has been brought into my project, but with the condition saying that it is applicable when the .NET Framework 2.0 is my target framework. So that's how easy it is. You could have hand edited it, but the tooling does it for you. Now, back to my original problem, where I wanted to make use of this package in my local dev environment. So when I build this solution and go back to my debug folder and look at this NuGet package, it has a dependency on this build harness that I brought in. I didn't want that. I don't want it. So how do I go and make sure that this is not reflected in here? It's very simple right now. What you can do is make this dependency as private. So I can say private assets, all the contents of this dependency. And if I go and rebuild this project, let's go and look. Let's go and look at the debug folder, and that dependency is no longer here. So that's the use case that you will have where you can bring in some dependency to the local environment, but not into the package that you want to publish. Before I move on to the publishing workflow where I want to show the goodness of the new API keys, let me cover one more scenario. I talked about NuGet commands like pack or restore becoming MSBuild targets. So one of the use cases that I'm going to show you, now that I have a NuGet package as a result of every build that I do for my project, what I want is I want to also copy that package from the output folder to my local NuGet feed, right? Which is a very typical use case because if I have other projects depending on this package that I generate here, it's very simple if I do that as part of my build process itself. So how do I go and do it? So again, I'll bring in another code snippet that I have ready. And this is I'm creating another MSBuild target, which is copy package target, and it's dependent on the pack target. Now, pack target was like it's an implicit target that was generated for me because I said generate package on build. The UI where I checked the box, that's created the pack target implicitly. So once MSBuild goes ahead and calls in MSBuild t:pack, once it has built the project, it will go and pack it for me, and then it will call this copy package, which will copy my package from the output directory to the local NuGet feed. So let me go and run this. As you run, okay, so again, I have some things open, so it didn't create the library. So now it should go and create the library. And let's go to the local NuGet feed, and this package is waiting for me here. So that's how easy it gets because the NuGet commands are exposed as MSBuild targets. Now that I have a NuGet package, the next step for me is I want to publish it somewhere, maybe NuGet.org or some other NuGet feed that you might have. So how do you go and do it? You need an API key to do that if you're doing it from the command line or in your CI/CD process. So let's go and discuss the API key. So for that, I'm logged into my NuGet.org account, and I can go to my account settings, and here I'll see a API key section. By default, you might have a full access API key in your account, which has all the access or all the permissions on your account. And this is very dangerous because if you leak this key, if you give, like maybe you put it out through mail or you put it in some share, which is a strict no-no, but still if you go and miss this key and somebody gets access to it, he has full control over your account. And what this means is he can go and upload as many spam packages as he wants into your account, unlist your existing packages, or update your packages with some malicious code, in which case all the downstream developers are impacted. So how do you go and prevent it? Our recommendation is you should never have a full access API key. Instead, you should have the new API keys, and I'll show you how it helps in how it is not a full access one, it's a scoped one, so it helps you in managing the permissions. So I can create a new sample key, and I can say when it expires. And for my case, it is 1 day because I don't want it to be available tomorrow. I can select the scope, which is push scope, and then I can say which packages are it applicable to, right? So I can say my .sample.lib, which is my package that I just created, or I can just say my.star, which is kind of future-proof. So if I am creating a new package tomorrow, which is my.foo.bar, I can still use the same key to go and publish it. So it's very easy to manage in the case of multi-team environment. So if you are an organization, you have multiple teams in here, and one team is responsible for one set of packages, another team for another set of packages. You can create multiple keys and give it to those teams and not worry about that intersection and issues with that. After you have this key, you can copy this key. This is not shown anywhere, so somebody is trying to spy on my screen or somebody is looking at my screen like you guys are. You can't see the key here. I can just copy it over to my clipboard and make use of it. Again, so I'm not going to execute the actual push command because there's nothing new there. What new was the scoped API keys, and you should be aware of like how to use it and not use the full access API key going forward. So that's all I had here for today, for this session. Let me go and summarize what all we looked at today. In a bit, I'll just discuss the summary. So what we discussed was we discussed a new way of managing NuGet dependencies, and that is through PackageReference. It is default in the .NET Core projects, and you can still go and use in other project types. We also looked at how can you go and configure the package metadata, how it is all from within the tool, and how you can create a new NuGet package with every build. And the same gets persisted in your CSproj file. So CSproj file is your source of truth. You can just refer to that and be happy about what's happening, what's not. We saw the MSBuild integration where I used another MSBuild target to copy over the NuGet package from one folder to another folder. And we looked at this multi-targeting as well as conditional dependency, as in how can you bring in a new dependency in with some conditions in it. Scoped API key was the last one that we just discussed. And with that, I'll leave you with this slide, which is like how you can go and read more about NuGet. There is a documentation available. There is also a blog that we keep updating with new features that we announce. We have a Twitter handle. You can reach out to us with that or mail us. Or you can directly mail me with that, anandgaur@microsoft.com. I'll be also hanging around here. I'll be in the gaming app and game zone there in the XAML tools booth. So if you have questions, you can just come around there tomorrow or day after or today. So with this, Hope you liked the session, got something useful out of it. Thank you. So TFS or VSTS, so it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to use a regular package, or like, are you a package author, or it's like? Yes, so on VSTS or TFS, you have these tasks available. So if you go and look at so there are templates. After the template, you can see like add tasks. Maybe I can show it to you quickly, but I'll just talk about it. So once you have this add tasks, that brings a lot of tasks there, right? And there is a section called package. If you go to that package, it has a lot of tasks like NuGet publisher. There is also like 10 NuGet task, NuGet installer. So those will do the same task that you can do via command line or through MSBuild. Also, if you're using a netcore project, you can use the MSBuild task to go and restore or pack, because you don't need a NuGet.exe to go and pack your libraries into a NuGet package. So MSBuild can do it for you. So you can use multiple tasks in multiple ways. VSTS team has some documentation around how can you do a CI/CD of a NuGet package. I don't have the document link ready, but if you search for VSTS documentation, you should be able to find that. No, so Visual Studio Team Services, it provides you a way to host your NuGet packages, right? So you can create a feed, and that can host NuGet packages, Maven packages, NPM packages, all of that. So it acts as an internal feed for you. So if you are in a company setup where you want to first dogfood your packages, right? So that's the logical place where you should go. You should push so the typical CI/CD scenario in this case would be you have multiple environments. The first environment is an internal environment, and the next would be the public or prod environment. In the internal environment, you should push to the VSTS package management. So there, that feed that you push to, you can consume from your organization because it will be authenticated feed. And once you are okay and you say, we have tested it, we have dogfooded it, you are ready to go, then you can go to the prod environment where you'll be pushing to NuGet.org. So there are different places you can push to. There are lots of NuGet feeds available. NuGet.org is the public all-in-one kind of one feed where all NuGet packages are typically in. So, okay. Hey. Yeah. So the way I get your question is, if I have multiple projects and each project is like generating some libraries, how do I go and combine those libraries into one NuGet package, right? Yeah, so there are various, so one of the things you can do is you can define that in NuSpec file, or there are tools available like NuGetizer, which is also there. So Visual Studio, you're saying, right now I'm not aware of a way to go and from all across the projects combine all of them into one NuGet package, but that's a good feedback. I'm not too sure about that question. I'll connect with you after this session. Okay, thanks.